Chapter 8 is Silvermoon City. Young Master and left with the group of dragons. But what was left behind was a scene of wailing. The sea calmed down, and a group of Xuanwu cried and cried. Elder Mu, my father died a horrible death. As soon as the group of dragons came, the group of sea demons that used to fawn over us all ran away. Elder Mu. This time we were eaten by them with 200 Xuanwu, and 300 more were injured in various ways. The cries continued, and there were still many corpses remaining in the 4 directions. Mu Chen's face was ugly, but he still gave a good consolation. Gu Hai and his party were in the midst of waiting high up in the sky. It was only in the evening that Mu Chen flew up. Your Majesty, it was really close, otherwise our tribe here would have been wiped out, Mu Chen said with an ugly face. Gu Hai nodded and said, you comfort them well, then pack up and head to the 9-5 Islands. I have already explained to Gu Qin that a nearby sea area will be used as a resting place for you all. Mu Chen nodded. Yes, thank you, Your Majesty. Your Majesty is going to Yingju this time, but beware of them. That ghost face seems to be about to open the heavenly palace. Don't worry, Gu Hai nodded. Mr. Shangguan, will you come with us? Mao Chen looked at Shangguan Trace. Shangguan Scar's identity needed to be concealed, so he addressed him as Mr. Shangguan. No, I am traveling to Yingju with the Emperor. You guys take care of yourselves on the way, Shangguan Trace solemnly said. Good, Mu Chen nodded. After giving an explanation, Mao Chen returned to the sea once again. On the side, Master Liu Nian's eyes were full of amazement. This ancient sea really took Mu Chen in. Are you kidding? Hall Master. Many thanks this time. Gu Hai looked towards Long Wanqing. You don't have to thank me. In fact, just now, if we didn't make a move, Mu Chen could have taken care of Ghostface as well. That Ghostface is about to open the Heavenly Palace, but, in the end, it's not there yet. It's just the peak of the Yuanying realm, right? Long Wanqing laughed. No, even if Mukan can deal with him. But, it seems to be similar. During this period, it's very likely that the group of dragons will attack the Xuanwu. And the Xuanwu will lose a lot of money. Nowadays, every Xuanwu is very important. Gu Hai shook his head. On the other side, with a wave of his hand, a group of servants quickly maneuvered the flying boat into flight. If you want to thank me, why don't you teach me how to play chess? This time, don't say that you haven't played chess with anyone for decades. Long Wanqing blushed and laughed. If Hall Master wants to learn, Gu Hai naturally knows what to say. Gu Hai said with a smile. There was still some time before the divine continent Earth. During this period, Gu Hai asked Long Wanqing about some of the situation in the divine continent Earth. And Long Wanqing knew everything about Gu Hai, and the two of them had a good conversation. A few days later, within a large hall of the White Cloud flying boat, Gu Hai was in solitary seclusion. In front of him is the Gong method True Dragon Golden Dan Gong. Gu Hai carefully studied the Gong method. The Golden Dan realm's cultivation is to impact the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys with true essence to open up the 5 orifices. Heart orifices, liver orifices, spleen orifices, lung orifices, and kidney orifices, with the Danshan as the main focus and the 5 orifices as a supplement, gathering and storing true essence. Wouldn't these 5 orifices be similar to the existence of a Danshan? In other words, at the Golden Dan realm, 5 more Danshan-like fields are opened. A trace of doubt flashed in Gu Hai's eyes. The mind sank into the Danshan, and the spherical true essence in the Danshan slowly rotated, as if there was a vortex above it, absorbing the aura to condense into true essence. In the sphere of true essence, a small purple dragon-like existence, swimming in it. This small purple dragon seems to be virtual and real, is the true dragon condensed by the true dragon innate work. However, Gu Hai had incorporated a portion of his mind into it, and the little dragon was able to move with his mind. Under the control of the consciousness, the small dragon began to swim out of the true element ball, swam out of the dantian, led the true element, swimming in the meridians. After cruising around, it slowly swam to the heart. A meridian node in the heart seemed to have a greyish power. The little dragon led a large amount of true essence to blast away. Boom! Gu Hai's heart shook violently, and with a pain, Gu Hai immediately stopped. The greyish power shook slightly and remained steady there. Heart orifice. Is this the entrance to the heart orifice? You need to shock open the heart orifice to do so. However, right now, the power of true essence seems to be missing out. No, it should be lacking some sort of opportunity. A trace of bewilderment flashed in Gu Hai's eyes. The little dragon swam along the meridians and swam to the lungs. Sure enough, the lungs also had a greyish entrance in general. The lung orifices could not be opened either. Spleen orifice, liver orifice, kidney orifice. Gu Hai cruised through them one by one, but to open them, it was not something that could be done overnight. True essence still needed to be accumulated, and at the same time, an opportunity was needed. After cultivating for 2 days, Gu Hai once again walked out of the palace. On top of the flying boat, Long Wanqing stood alone at the bow looking into the distance. The sun was setting in the west. The golden sunlight sprinkled on Long Wanqing's clean white face and neck, as if it was the world's most beautiful jewelry that was generally beautiful and dazzling. Gu Hai stood not far away, looking slightly dazed. Suddenly, Long Wanqing seemed to feel something, turned her head to look, just as Gu Hai's eyes met. Long Wanqing slightly smiled. That smile is like 100 flowers in full bloom general splendor. That moment, Gu Hai felt frozen for a long time heart, as if suddenly came to a sound to break the ice. Gu Hai's complexion changed, instantly suppressing the trace of warmth in his heart. You're out of the gate. Long Wanqing smiled softly. Yes, I just studied the true Dragon Jindan technique. The order of the method of true essence traveling in it is indeed much more powerful than the Jindan realm technique I found in the past. The atmosphere is majestic and goes straight to the 5 orifices. Gu Hai laughed. Opening the 5 orifices is very crucial. The heart, liver, spleen, lungs and kidneys are equivalent to the 5 orifices of gold. Wood, water, fire and earth. The opening of the 5 orifices can be of great help to the Yuanying realm, Long Wanqing explained. Oh, the dantian condenses Yuanying, and among the 5 orifices, it will also condense Yuanying in the future, Long Wanqing explained. Gathering a Yuanying in 5 orifices, isn't that going to condense 6 Yuanying? Gu Hai said blankly. Long Wanqing nodded. Yes, these are your pranas. The condensed form of the prana is the Yuanying. It's the source of your power. Oh, people have 3 souls and 7 pranas. Why are there only 6 Yuanying? Gu Hai was puzzled. Long Wanqing frowned and shook her head. I'm not sure, but the world's cultivation is like this. With 6 Yuanying condensing, one can open the heavenly palace and cultivate the 3 souls. A wave of bewilderment flashed through Gu Hai's eyes and he nodded. By the way, we're about to arrive at Silvermoon City, a large city in Yingzhou by the sea. The rest of the One Piece Hall are already waiting there. There is a palace set up by my mother in the past there, and it is also considered the place where my One Piece Hall is stationed. Long Wanqing looked into the distance and said, Oh, a palace set up by your mother. Did your mother set up many palaces? Gu Hai curiously said. No, not many were set up. There are only 2 in Yingzhou. Long Wanqing shook her head. Oh, then why did you choose Silvermoon City? Gu Hai was curious. My mother is a zither lover. The zither in Silvermoon City is very good, right? Almost every kind of zither in the world can be found in Silvermoon City. There are a large number of zither makers there, Long Wanqing explained. Is that so? Gu Hai revealed a hint of doubt and nodded. The flying boat flew very quickly. Long Wanqing pointed in the distance, and Gu Hai could already see a huge city. By the sea, a super huge city. That city was actually half as big as the 9-5 Islands. One must know that the 9-5 Island was about the same size as the land of the Earth in the previous life, or it was like a small planet like the 9-5 Island. A city here was actually half the size of the Earth's land mass. Don't ask Wuxia how he measured it, because this city had a city wall. The towering city wall was 500 feet high. 500 feet is equivalent to 500 floors higher. In the sky above the city, clouds and mist surrounded it, as if one could not see inside. Above the city walls, there were likewise countless formations that flashed with light from time to time. This is Silvermoon City. The entire city is a giant formation that can withstand the impact of a heaven-opening palace. It's very solid, Long Wanqing explained. It's still very grand. Wuxia laughed bitterly. Yeah, it was good to come out for a bit. No wonder the people of the divine continent lands considered the Thousand Islands Sea to be a barren and savage land. One's own Great Han Palace, following the comparison, was far worse. This one ordinary city could fit in one's own Great Han Imperial Palace. Taking a deep breath, Wuxia's eyes kept staring. As for the officials that Wuxia brought with him, there was a sound of cold air being sucked in at this moment. Is this an immortal city? So grand. It's just a city pool, just a city pool. No wonder the Emperor wants to use the entire Tiger Dungeon Pass as a palace. Yes, it's our eyes that are too low. All the Great Han officials felt that their eyes were not enough in general. Outside Silvermoon City, there were all sorts of exotic beasts flying around. A great immortal scenery. The flying boat slowly landed outside Silvermoon City, a place specially given for docking flying boats. When the flying boat was put away, a group of people came to greet it. This is the Immortal Crane Car. The city does not allow flying boats to fly. The public area is even more so. This immortal crane can carry us through the city quickly. Similar to your horse-drawn carriages of yesteryear. Only we have to pay, Long Wanqing explained. Wuxia nodded. Paying was fine. He still had some spirit stones. A group of nearly 100 people chartered an immortal crane car and flew towards the city gate. The city gate was going to be 100 feet high, with two big words Silvermoon floating above it. The guards at the city gate wanted to check, but Long Wanqing took out the order of the whole of one piece and let them in easily. Once in the city, from a distance, the city actually has a large number of floating islands floating in the sky. Floating islands, pavilions and countless pavilions, exceptionally beautiful, of course. There are also a lot of fog shrouded, apparently unwilling to open to the public. Floating island around the immortal birds flying. Extraordinarily dreamy general. A group of officials of the Great Han only feel that the eyes are not enough to see. The eyes do not blink. Far away, there were also a large number of streets, with countless cultivators running among the streets. Long Wanqing had been paying attention to Wuxia. Seeing that Wuxia had immediately regained his composure, Ella being only slightly surprised, she also revealed a wave of curiosity. Wouldn't a normal person be shocked for a long time when they saw it for the first time? Are there all cultivators in this city? Wuxia curiously said. Only a very small number of them are mortals. Most of them are cultivators. The weak ones only have Haoshan realm cultivation, however. They can only live at the lowest level. Followed by the innate realm, Jindan realm the most, and then the Yuanying realm. Long Wanqing nodded. About how many people are there in this city? Wuxia was curious. 100 million, Long Wanqing into the distance and said. Wuxia, the crowd of Great Han officials even more so. Their eyes almost bulged out. 100 million. Inside a city, there is 100 million, 9-5 islands in the past. 1 million people was a super large city. Silvermoon City is ultimately a bit remote. The population isn't too much. Long Wanqing shook her head and said. A group of Great Han officials. Wuxia wasn't too shocked. After all, this number was just 4 times the population of Shanghai on Earth in the old days. Besides, this one city was bigger than China on Earth. A population of 100 million wasn't much. In Silvermoon City, in an extremely gorgeous hall, young Master An was currently gently polishing an ancient zither. Suddenly, a subordinate crossed into the Great Hall. Young Master An, someone just sent a message that Long Wanqing and the others are here. That subordinate respectfully said. Oh, Long Wanqing and the others have come to Silvermoon City as well. Young Master An raised an eyebrow and paused. Yes, except for that Mao Chen who didn't show up. Everyone on the white cloud flying boat came at that time. That subordinate respectfully said. Young Master An revealed a cold smile. It's really a narrow road. How long has it been? They just barged in. HMPH.